Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys head coach, has a chance to prove himself this year as a lame duck. It used to be it was a bad thing for a coach to be a lame duck. Nobody wanted to have their coach in the final year of the contract. It doesn't go well. And then at some point, teams decided, what the hell? So what if it makes it harder for the coach to send the message when things are rocky, when adversity strikes, when you have to get through to the locker room? And you've got guys there who are saying, why are we listening to him? He's not going to be here next year anyway. So you want to have that promise, that threat, that reality that when we get to the end of the season, if things don't go the way they're supposed to, somebody's going to kick ass and take names. Oh, and it's not going to be the guy who's currently the coach. There's going to be a clean slate. There's going to be a new boss. So it is valuable to have a coach who isn't under contract only through the current season. And McCarthy told the Dallas Morning News that this is a challenge. Yes, it's a challenge. Of course it's a challenge. It's always better to be under contract beyond this year if you're a head coach of a team. It's easier to send a powerful message. It's easier to hold a team together. It's easier to find a way out of the darkness when it looks like you're done by the time Thanksgiving rolls around. McCarthy also said something about betting on himself, and there's an opportunity here. It cuts both ways. You bet on yourself. Here's the problem with being a head coach in the NFL, especially Mike McCarthy. If he bets on himself and takes the Cowboys at least to the NFC Championship game, a place they haven't been since 1995. Is there going to be a land rush for Mike McCarthy? Are teams going to be coming out of the woodwork to hire him? We rarely see coaches become free agents. They either stay where they are or they get fired and then they move on, and maybe there's another team that hires them, or maybe they become a coordinator. And, maybe it's part of the not so subtle collusion and antitrust violations that happen as it relate to coaches. Coaches' pay. They've managed to keep the coaches' pay in check, even though there's no salary cap for coaches. You don't have teams blowing the curve, and we've got this dynamic where a coach gets one paycheck from the team, and then he gets other money funneled to him from other entities owned by the owner of the team. So other coaches aren't saying, well, this is the high bar. No, the high bar is lower officially. But yeah, there's a high bar out there even higher, and that's a way to just keep everything in line. I think that when it comes to coaches who are about to complete their contracts, I get the feeling it's just kind of frowned upon to be waiting in the weeds for the opportunity to steal that coach. So Mike McCarthy's betting on himself, not because he has to. He'd rather have a contract. That's just the only way to put a positive spin on a bad situation. Hey, I'm betting on myself and maybe I'll win. The most he's going to win, most likely, is the contract that he believes he should already have. And what Jerry Jones should have just done, frankly, after they were embarrassed at home by the Green Bay Packers to cap the 2023 season in the wild card round of the playoffs, he just should have fired Mike McCarthy. But for as much money as Jerry Jones has, if we didn't learn it this week with the trial that ultimately, although it would have been very entertaining, ultimately the Jerry Jones paternity contract breach of confidentiality agreement case went away, disappeared before he actually got on the witness stand. Everything's gone, everything's done. But at some level, you can look at that and say, why are you doing it for $1.6 million? Why do you not want to pay a coach to not coach your team? Why are you cheap? You've won $15 billion. You've won. And part of the problem is the qualities that help make the person reach that level of financial success, it's hard for them to turn it off. It's hard to change your nature and say, what's $1 million here? What's $1 million there? What's 10 million? Whatever. It's a write-off. It just becomes a weird thing, because I think Jerry Jones should have fired Mike McCarthy after the season. And I think if you attached him to a lie detector test and he would actually comply with it and not say, damn the torpedoes, I'll say whatever I want. Of course, that's why the lie detector test is there. I've just kind of twisted myself into a mental pretzel. But nevertheless, he would have fired him, but for the fact that he would have had to pay him to not work for the Dallas Cowboys. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.